If I share what happened, if I share what happened behind these closed doors, if I share what happened that people didn't really take care of the things that they should have taken care of, if I share those things, then those people that they are going to hurt me, they're going to say other things about me, or you feel like you're going to make them look bad. Maybe they have a high platform, or maybe it's your mom, or maybe it's your dad, and you don't want them to look bad. Here's what you can tell that person, those people that didn't handle the situation how they should have. If you don't like the story that I told, then you shouldn't have played the part that you played. Sarah's story. So somebody told her to reach out to me, and man, I'm so glad, because, and that's mostly right now where my clients are coming from, are people referring them to me for different things that are going on right now. Not right now, but my focus period, my niche, if you will, who I am serving is people who have experienced trauma. And I know we've all experienced trauma to some sort. I know that we all have had some sort of trauma, and we can break that down. But sometimes our trauma gets so high, we don't know what to do anymore. And maybe you've tried other things. Maybe you've gone to counseling. Maybe you've tried to do all the stuff, and it hasn't worked for you. And that's where some people kind of coming to me and this like, man, I don't know what else to do. And so they're coming to me, and that was Sarah's story. Sarah's story was referred to me by somebody else, and she came to me, man, and she was struggling. She was weighed down by all of her past traumas, and man, it just seemed to just put a dark shadow on everything that she was trying to do. And this was in early January 2024, really right when I started. I mean, I've only been coaching now. This is my second full month in February, and it is phenomenal what God has done so far. So Sarah came to me in the beginning of January 2024 and was referred to me. And so the way that started is, so I texted Sarah, her name, again, it's not Sarah, but we're going to go with Sarah. So I texted Sarah, I said, hey, somebody encouraged me to reach out to you, just want to check in. And so we started texting, and then eventually I was like, hey, do you want to get on a phone call? And so we got on a phone call, and that phone call was about 20 minutes, just checking in. She didn't really know who I was, and didn't really know much about me. And so I was able to kind of share my story and share who I was. And then she said, man, I would like to go ahead and try to work with you. And so, and in that process, I decided, it'd be really good to work with me. And I work with people in different ways. So some I work with them for 90 days. And I also have a 60-day package, and then I also have a month-to-month package. And some are every month, and that's those are other ways that you can work with me. And so when she came to me, I was like, man, it's going to take more than just once a week for you to work with me. It's going to take quite a bit based on I do this quiz with people where when I'm on the phone with them, I have them kind of fill out these questions, kind of see where they're at on a scale for depression, anxiety, and sometimes if it's too high, I have to refer on to somebody else. So, but what I want to show are the four pivotal actions that Sarah took for her healing. And I want to share this. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. I know that is bringing you great value. If you could please subscribe to my channel, man, that would be awesome, because I would love for this video to help more and more people and serve them in whatever way that they need it. And also, if you could hit the bell deal so that you can get notifications whenever I go live. I try to go live once a week, or when a new video is posted. The first step that she took is to really being vulnerable, because if you want to heal what's going on inside of you, you have got to be able to share that in a safe place. And so her number one step, the first step that she took, was that she just shared her life with me. She shared her life with me on our first real coach to client call. And this was on the phone. It wasn't on Zoom. She was not comfortable with Zoom at the time. Eventually she was, and still is. It's awesome. But man, that first step is to embrace that vulnerability. And because so many people who have been hurt in different ways in their life, they don't feel safe sharing what has happened in their life. And that makes sense, because when we say things and we talk about things that have hurt us, the confession pieces, man, that's hard. That's really hard. And it can be hard for a lot of reasons. It's hard because you don't want to pull it up and maybe be re-triggered, which does happen. It could be hard because you don't want to hurt the person who may still be living. They may still be around you, and you're not sure what to do with that. But in Sarah's case, it was crucial for her to start telling her story to get her out of those steps to actually start walking in freedom. Something that would be really good for you to know is that confession can be unsafe. And if you agree with that, man, just let me know. Confession can be unsafe, because it can be. Because we feel like at times maybe you have confessed something, or maybe you have said something that has hurt you in the past and nobody did anything with it. Like maybe you went to a parent, maybe you went to a spouse, maybe you've gone to a trusted coworker and you shared something and nothing happened with it, which only over time just starts to make it feel like it's your fault, or like things are happening that, man, you're not sure how to get out of it. And so for some people, confessing can feel unsafe because you haven't been listened to in the past, or maybe you confess something. I shared this on my Instagram yesterday. Maybe we confess something and then somebody comes at you with verses and prayers, and those are all good and great, but man, come on. By you feeling unsafe in your confessions makes sense. And I want to share this. If you are not willing to share the things that you're dealing with, and share maybe some hurts and pains that have happened to you because you feel like, man, I shouldn't feel this way, or I need to be more tough, or you don't want to share it because somebody else made an excuse. Maybe you went to somebody and you said, man, you really hurt me with this, and they made an excuse for it. Man, that's awful. Like making an excuse when someone comes to you with a pain or something that you may have hurt them with, and your response is an excuse. Well, I was drinking, or well, this, or I was just been really stressed, or I'm not the one leading this area of the organization, so that's really this person's fault. Well, that's called an excuse. And what that does is just pushes the pain even more down for that person that's come to you. So how about you shut your mouth and you listen? Because then what happens is the person that's coming to you, or you as the person that has gone to that person, and you feel like you've worked up enough energy to actually do it, and then they make an excuse. Man, that sucks. And you need to find someone that is strong enough to handle whatever it is that you have gone to. Who is that person that is strong enough to handle the things that you need and want to say? And I don't know who that person is. But for Sarah's story, that person was me. It is me still. I'm somebody that she now knows. We've built trust. She can share things with me, and it has become a great healing space for her to start healing. So, and I think also we can't just talk around the traumatic experiences that have happened to us. We can't just talk around it. We got to talk about it. There is a lie that the enemy is telling so many people, that you can't share your entire story because you're going to make other people look bad. And I know like for me, that has been a thing. Like if I share what happened, then I'm going to make this other person look bad. And then even for Sarah's story, and in my story, if I share this, then these people are going to hurt me. If I share what happened, behind these closed doors, if I share what happened that people didn't really take care of the things that they should have taken care of, if I share those things, then those people, for me, I would feel in the past and still current struggle at times, that they are going to hurt me. They're going to say other things about me, or you feel like you're going to make them look bad. Maybe they have a high platform, or maybe it's your mom, or maybe it's your dad, and you don't want them to look bad. Well, here's something that I've heard, and I really, really like this. Here's something I want you to think about. When that person maybe get upset, or that person, and you can't do this to me, or other people come at you for that person because they've surrounded themselves with peons that they can't handle their own business, so they've got other people doing it for them. Here's what you can tell that person, those people that didn't handle the situation how they should have. If you don't like the story that I told, then you shouldn't have played the part that you played. I'll say that again. I think this is so good. When we have the enemy telling us don't share, don't say, don't do, don't all these things, here's what I want you to remember. When the person may get upset with you for sharing that story, then you can let that person know, then they shouldn't have played the part that they played. Because the truth is, you're not a victim. You got to know that you are not the victim. You may have been victimized. I love this. You may have been victimized, but you do not remain a victim. And the way that we remain a victim at times is, even though we were victimized, is that we don't share it and we don't say it. And in Sarah's story, she started to share things, and it took time and it was hard. But as she was sharing things, I was able to give her steps moving forward in her journey so that she can walk as she is now in freedom. Because man, that's your testimony. Your testimony is Jesus Christ, that he saved you. That's your testimony. And so another thing I really want you to think about is this. We cannot allow temporary pain to become a permanent solution. We can't allow it. temporary pain to become a permanent solution. And man, that was almost my story. That was almost my story because of some pain that I was having and was rising up in me. Man, I almost made it a permanent solution and no longer on this earth anymore. Now, I will encourage you. So what did Sarah do in her story? The first thing that she did is, man, she got real, she got vulnerable, and she shared. And that was an ultimate door so that the Lord could step in and start on her healing journey. The second thing that Sarah did is she prioritized herself. And sometimes when we have experienced pain, we've experienced things in our lives, we want to prioritize everybody around us. We prioritize our kids, our spouse, our work, our job. We prioritize everybody else. So everything else is good, but then we start to lose. And if I'm speaking to you right now and you're like, man, this is me, or this is somebody that I know, this is somebody that I work with, man, I would love for you. There's a link that I just put all over the place, and I would love for you to, it's even in the show notes, man, I would love for you to click that, fill it out, and see if we can work together. Maybe there's somebody else like Sarah's story that was referred to me, and I was working with her, and she is on her way to walking in freedom. And so the second thing is prioritizing herself. She went from caring about everybody else to caring about her. From caring about everybody else to started caring about herself. And what does that look like? Man, for her at the beginning of us working together was, man, she just needed to eat. She was not eating. And when you're in a dark tunnel of and for me, I didn't have the problem of not eating. For me, when I was in that darkness, I eat, okay? I ate a lot. But some people don't eat. It's the reverse. They don't want to cook. They don't want to do anything. So I encouraged Sarah to go to the store and get some protein shakes. Just get some protein shakes and try to drink one of those. And that was huge. And then what else did we do to prioritize ourselves? I started to make these small goals for her. Very small goals. Very small. Because when you are in a state of sadness and depression and you feel like you've been hiding things and you're not sure what to do, man, you just want to stack up some wins. You want to make some big deposits that actually stack up over time. And so you do this little thing, then you do this thing. Maybe you put up your clothes. That's another thing. Maybe you went to the store and got some protein. Come on. Maybe you went outside today and sat in a chair. Yes. And you start stacking these wins. And over time, you're like, look where I have come. And those little steps are huge for you to take the next step. And so for you, what are those small little things that you can stack on top of each other to start making progress in your life? Because the depression and the sadness is telling you can't do anything. Like, you just stay where you're at. You're worthless. You don't need to do anything. And that's a lie. Because when you start to move and you start to overcome those things with these little steps in your story, man, it's phenomenal what happens. Because I've been working with Sarah since January, and it's about the end of February, and man, she's doing awesome. It's amazing. We've retaken that test that she took in the very beginning. The score is completely different, so much lower. It's phenomenal what is happening. So for you, if you're in this, I want to encourage you, prioritize yourself. Because if you're not doing well, if you're not on your way to healing, then you can't help anybody around you. You're just kind of going through the motions and you're pushing down more of that pain and more of the stuff. So I want to encourage you with that. The next thing, building resilience through faith. So her faith and her walk with the Lord played a significant role in her journey. And so what did that look like for me as her coach? What does that look like for me as a Christian life coach? Man, I've written these devotionals, got 60 day and 90 days, and I've shared that with her. And she does it as she wants to. It is not a forced thing that I ask my clients to do. It's just, I mean, if you want to do it, there it is. And we would talk about it on our calls, and we talk about the Lord, and we'd break down some scripture. And man, she started to find comfort in the scripture as it became more real to her. Sometimes when people read the Bible, it doesn't make sense. And that's okay. I mean, it can be confusing. And I think that's one of the great things that God has gifted me in as being a pastor, is I'm able to break down the scriptures in a way that makes sense so that you can apply it to your life. Man, I was a youth pastor for 20 something years, and I was able to take scripture and make it apply to the younger generation. Now, the truth is because I'm just not smart enough to make it any more than what it is. Like I'm just not that guy. And I believe that God has gifted me in a way to be able to take scripture and make it apply to their life. And so that's what's happening with Sarah and so many of my clients as we break down the scripture and look at it. And that's when the healing begins. So again, looking at the 4 steps that Sarah has taken in her life, the first one was just being vulnerable and finding a safe person, which was me, to talk about the things that had happened to her and not to worry about what other people thought and that other people may be upset. The second one was prioritizing herself more than other people. And that just meant going to the store for herself and getting some food in her, like just some small steps toward her nutrition and just being healthy. Because man, if we're not eating and we're not doing those things, then our brain thinks we're dying and all this stuff. Just getting some of that nutrition in you. And then the third thing is resilience through faith. And that's something Sarah is doing. And that's where she's at. It's so great. And then the last one is connection or community. And Sarah is finding people in her life that she can connect with, because she felt like for a long time there were people that she thought she could connect with, but now those people have actually, I say abandoned, they've just gone their other ways, which has been hard for her because she has felt alone in her stuff. And has anybody felt that before? You're watching this, just put me. Yeah, you have felt abandoned. You felt like alone in your stuff. If you could put that in the comments, man, I hear that and I see that. Okay. But the thing with Sarah is she's got now these connections and these people who sit and listen to her and sit and are available for her. And she's there for them. And she's not coming to them in a victim mentality, man. She's coming to them and like, man, I'm slowly healing. I'm getting better. And they're seeing a different person. And what I love about working with my clients is, man, whenever we start out, man, they're down. And even on Zoom calls, you can just tell. And now when I meet with Sarah, man, it is amazing to see the changes just in her physical appearance. There's joy in her heart. You can see it on her face. It is amazing. And those connections in that community that she has gotten now is phenomenal. You were like, man, I want to work with you. And I would love the opportunity to get to know you and set up an initial call to see if we can work together and what package would be perfect for you. Let me know, because I believe that coaching could truly change your life.